Miss Cynthia, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty good.
All right. So what brings you to the stage today?
I just have a question about a scenario that I was thinking of, and I just want to hear your input on what you thought of it.
Okay, go right ahead.
So, I'm a loan officer, so I'm on the lending side of real estate. But more commonly now, sellers are offering seller concessions to buy down people's interest rates or use the 2-1 buy down for the temporary buy down.
For those who are in the back of the room that may not understand what the 2-1 buy down is, could you explain that for us?
The 2-1 buy down is where the seller contributes seller concessions towards buying the interest rate down for the first 2 years of the loan. So the first year of the loan, the interest rate is reduced 2%. Then the second year is reduced 1%. Then the third year, it goes through the 30th year, it goes to the permanent rate. So my question is this.
Yes.
So during the period, being that most sellers are now offering to buy down the interest rates for the buyer, would it be smart for in those first 2 years, even though the interest rate is bought down so their payment is lower, would it be smart for them to pay the difference towards the principal directly for those first 2 years?
Ooh wee, what a fabulous question. Okay. So let me talk to you about that. So right now we're going to put an example on the screen and I'm going to take your numbers. So give me an example of what you're talking about. How much are we borrowing?
Let's say 400,000.
400,000. Okay. And the interest rates just closed in on 7. So let's start there. Okay. With a 7% interest rate. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And let's see here. We're going to calculate that $400,000. Our payment is $2,661.21. Now, Miss Cynthia, it's important to note this. With the buyer, do they need a lower interest rate or would they just like a lower interest rate? Do they need a lower payment or would they just like a lower payment? That's important to know. Okay.
Some of them don't need it.
Some of them don't need it.
They just feel more comfortable with it.
They feel more comfortable with it. So let me show you a couple of things about that. And you said it would be smart to pay the difference towards principal. It would be smart to do that. But you know what's even smarter? Keep the 7% interest rate. Would you like to see that?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to compare this loan with another loan. So if we bought it down, about how much does that cost, first of all?
Whatever the difference in savings is
Right.
over the course of those 2 years is what they pay to get that buy down. So
Okay.
if they are saving, say, $7,000 over the course of those 2 years, that's how much it costs them to buy down the rate.
Right.
The $7,000 is just distributed over the course of 2 years to buy down their payment over the course of the 2 years.
So what you're saying is that the seller concession to do this is around $7,000.
Well, that was just a rough figure. I can calculate it though.
Well, yeah, I just need to have an idea. It doesn't have to be exact for this example.
Okay, well, we could say 7,000.
Okay, we'll say 7,000. I like it. Okay, $7,000. All right. And then we can bring that. So for 2 years, we're going to lower the interest rate. So for the first year, our interest rate is going to be what?
5.
All right. It's going to go to 5. So let me take a look at this. I'm going to open a new tab. We're going to duplicate this tab. Okay. And then we're going to lower that to 5. Now I do have the 400,000 at 5. I've got the $400,000 at 7. At 7%, the principal and interest payment is $2,661.21. Okay. And at the 5%, okay, at the 5%, it's $2147.29. Okay. So if you want to take your calculator out and do the math for me, that would be great. 2661.21. And then let me see. That's 2661.
It's roughly 515.
About 515, $515. All right. So you're saying we take that $515 and put it towards principal. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Is that what you're asking? If we
That
get,
was my question. Yes.
okay. So let me show you what happens if we do that. So let's take this example and we have now, all right, here's our very first payment, okay, on the 5% mortgage, okay? So you'll see that in a minute where our principal payment is $480.62 and our interest payment is $1,666.67. Let me know when you can see that because that's
I can see it.
great. Now, let's pretend we're making this first payment in January, okay? Now, if I make my payment on time in January, I don't owe anything until February, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, what would be February's principal payment? You can see the headings up above: principal, interest, cumulative principal, cumulative interest, and principal balance. But what would the principal payment be for February?
$42.63.
Okay, 482.63. So, based on what you know to be true, does a home buyer have to wait till February to give the bank an additional 482.63?
No.
No. If they had it, they could apply it to principal, just like you were talking about, right?
Correct.
If they did, guess what happens? That money goes to principal. They're paid down to line 2 immediately in January, correct?
Yes.
So their next mortgage payment then would be on what line of the schedule for February?
44.
All right, 484, that would be line 3?
Yes.
Okay. What just happened for $482.63? Didn't they just get rid of line 2? Line 2.
$1,000 in interest.
Exactly.
$1,600 in interest.
$1,600 in interest for 482.
Right.
So what you're talking about, taking about 515 and do that, we could save this and a little bit of this one too. We could save even more interest than $1,600 if we put 515 on it, couldn't we?
Yes.
How about that?
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.